Physiology Made Easy by Dr. Kavita Gupta. Now this is the series of the lectures, short lectures, not big lectures, to make you understand about the basic of the physiology. So we will start from the internal environment. Internal and now how it is maintained and what is the importance of this internal environment. So the distribution of the water in the body, first point we have to understand where they are distributed. So the 60% of the adult human body's weight is fluid. Out of this 60%, two-thirds of the 60% fluid is inside the cells, and this is called intracellular fluid. So the 60% of total fluid, 40% is present in intracellular fluid. Rest, 1/3 is present in extracellular fluid. Now the extracellular, it means it's 20%. 20% is present in extracellular fluid and 40% is present in intracellular fluid. So this ECF includes plasma and interstitial fluid. So the name is little bit confusing, in internal environment, but the extracellular fluid is responsible to make the internal environment. Why? This point I will tell you later. But this includes plasma and interstitial fluid. So extracellular fluid is a combination of the plasma and interstitial. There must be interdependence of the cellular and extracellular fluid system. Cellular means intracellular and extracellular fluid system. There are nearly 100 trillion cells are present in our body. They are bathed in extracellular fluid. So they are dipped in, you can say, in ECF. And the composition essentially the same, but nearly it should be same, and constant environment required for integrated functioning. So why it is important? It provides same constant atmosphere for 100 trillion cells. Secondly, the body are nourished and maintained in state of equilibrium after continuous exchange. So the body has to be, body cells that are the 100 trillion cells are nourished and maintained in a state of equilibrium. So the ECF is called internal environment of the body or milieu interior, because it provides the nourishment, it provides the equilibrium with the continuous exchange, and it provides the constant environment for integrated functioning. So the ECF is called internal environment, and the term introduced by French physiologist Claude Bernard, 19th century. Now the one more interesting point, that the composition of the ICF is remarkably similar in different animals. Intracellular fluid composition is remarkably similar in different animals, whether they are ranging from a small microorganism to human being. So this is the important point to remember. Second important point we must remember, that there are higher concentration of the protein in plasma, not in interstitial fluid. Otherwise, all other constituents are similar in plasma as well as interstitial fluid. Now in this slide, I will tell you what is the importance of the capillary circulation. The first thing, that energy is consumed for the exchange of the ions and electrolytes. So you will find capillary circulation movement required for continuous exchange. This is the important. So the circulatory movement is required. Second point, the blood when move forward during its course, during the capillary movements, that there is an exchange of the ions and electrolytes. So their unwanted substances are excreted out while wanted substances absorbed. So this is the animation which I prepared to show you. Next slide. In this slide, I will tell you the main distribution of the ions, how it is distributed just by the picture. So here you will find two cells I have shown is the intracellular fluid, contain the intracellular fluid, while outside of the cell is the plasma, and between the two cells is the interstitial fluid. So the ECF is formed by the plasma and interstitial fluid. The constitution remains the same, plasma as well as interstitial fluid, except plasma is rich in protein. P for plasma, P for protein. So it is rich in plasma, it is absent in interstitial fluid. Otherwise, all other constituent between the interstitial fluid and the plasma remains the same. So intracellularly, we will find potassium ions, magnesium, phosphate ions. While outside of the cells, extracellularly means interstitial fluid and plasma, it is rich in sodium, chloride and bicarbonate ions. So we will find one cation is more in amount is more in extracellular fluid, while the potassium is rich in intracellular fluid. So why the question arises, why there is a constant internal environment? So the maintenance of the internal environment beyond fluctuations of normal range values in the external environment is called homeostasis. So the word comes homeostasis. First word is internal environment, which is formed by ECF, and the second is homeostasis. So this is a very vast terminology. The maintenance of internal environment beyond fluctuations of normal range. So there must be a normal range, and beyond that there is a maintenance of internal environment. It's called homeostasis. So what factors can be regulated in homeostasis? Important nutrient molecules, concentration of the carbon dioxide, oxygen, concentration of the waste product, pH concentration of the water, salt, electrolytes, temperature, volume and pressure has to be regulated in homeostasis. Now, what is the system? What are the systems which regulate it or are functioning for that? That is circulatory system, digestive system, respiratory system, urinary system, skeletal system, muscular system, integumentary system, immune system, nervous system, endocrine system. So all system of our body, they work integrated to regulate the composition of the plasma, blood, RBCs, interstitial fluid, intracellular fluid, and this is known as internal environment. So there is the importance of the feedback mechanism. That is not work only in day-to-day life, but also in hours to hours, minutes to minutes, and second to seconds. So this feedback not only important in our body, but in our social activity also, in corporates also. So in that areas you will find that positive feedback is good, but in our body negative feedback mechanisms are good. Exceptions are there, but negative feedback mechanisms. Now, the definition of hemostasis, what you mean by that? So, first I had told you maintain the constant environment, internal environment. So, what is the definition? Maintenance of nearly constant condition in the environment is called homeostasis. So, there is a things: environment, external environment, and internal environment, and constant condition in the internal environment. So we will find why we say again and again constant condition, because values must be in the range of the values, first thing, very important, rather than a fixed values. Suppose we say pH of the 7.3 to 7.5, it is a very narrow range rather than a 7.4, because they can work, our cells can work between 7.3 to 7.5. So this is the range. So they must work between the range. So value in the narrow range, we must remember the values, whatever the values, in a range form, not in fixed values. So example is hydrogen concentration normally less than 5 nanomoles per liter present in our body. The pH, this is responsible for pH of plasma, and that is ranges from 7.3 to 7.5 with the error of 0.02 pH. While the sodium concentration, you will find it varies nearly 142. The 142, we will find that concentration of the sodium ion, it is 1 million times greater than the hydrogen concentration. It is 1 million times greater. But again, it is tightly regulated with the error of few millimoles per liter, even when we take large amount of sodium. So this is the importance of constancy or constant internal environment. So we will look after something about, in this slide, ionic composition of the plasma. First we will learn the ionic composition. Ionic composition, we are not distributing in the whether it is in the extracellular fluid or intracellular. We just say it is a composition of plasma. Oxygen, it is 40 millimeter mercury in the venous blood, mind it. In the venous blood, carbon dioxide is 45 millimeter mercury. Range is this. Sodium ions 142, range is 138 to 146, very narrow range. But it is more than pH range, millimoles per liter. Now unit here is millimeter mercury, here is the millimoles per liter. So the sodium ions, potassium ions, calcium ions, chloride ions. Here you will find potassium ions 4.2 millimoles, calcium ion 1.2, chloride ions 106. Bicarbonate ion 24, glucose 90 milligram per deciliter, body temperature 98 to 98.8 is a normal range, degree Fahrenheit, and acid base 7.4 pH. pH range is 7.3 to 7.5 is the normal range. So in this column I have shown you normal values, in this column normal range, and these are the unit. You have to revise this chart again and again. Now there is a integrated function. I always say integrated. What do you mean by that? Integrated function is a must to maintain these values in a narrow range. Now you can imagine if any one system is disturbed, we cannot maintain these values. So the integrated action of cells, integrated action of tissues, organs, multiple organs, nervous system, hormonal, local control system, they together contribute to homeostasis. So whether it is ICF, intracellular fluid or extracellular fluid, it has the same ionic osmolarity and estimated from plasma osmolarity. Means whatever the osmolarity of the plasma, it is just like that. Plasma osmolarity and intercellular osmolarity remains the same. So ionic composition of plasma and interstitial fluid remains the same except the protein in the plasma. Here the ICF, ECF osmolarity, how many osmoles that dissolved in liquid, is osmolarity is the same ICF and ECF. So what is the difference between extracellular fluid and intracellular fluid? Extracellular fluid, major ion is major outside of the cell is the sodium ions. It is a major cations, but inside the cell it is potassium. Major anions here is chloride and bicarbonate. Major anions here is magnesium and phosphates. Oxygen, glucose, fatty acids and amino acid organic. Here proteins and the organic phosphate ions are there. It contains carbon dioxide. Here there is no RBCs and proteins. So these are the main differences. But overall osmolarity, when we say sodium is more here, potassium is here, chloride here, more. In this side, magnesium is more. So the osmolarity remains the same with the difference of 1 millimole. Only slight difference. So there must be special mechanism for transporting the ions through the cell membrane to maintain the ion concentration. It cannot be deadlock. There must be transfusion or transportation of ions from one side to the other side, which is separated by. So there is constant movement of extracellular fluid, which involve two main processes. One, as the blood circulated inside the body. Second, exchange of the fluid. That is the main important. So constant exchange for iron and nutrients and metabolites. So important ions and nutrients absorbed, while unwanted metabolites excreted into the blood. So there are many systems, as I told you, to maintain the constant environment. Oxygen rapidly diffuses from lung to blood and carbon dioxide from blood to alveoli. So this is a function of respiratory system. Main system of kidney is unwanted metabolites like urea, which is poorly reabsorbed, passes through the renal tubule into the urine. GIT may absorb the main nutrient, but undigested material or waste product are eliminated in the feces. Liver absorbed many useful things and converted into other. Second, detoxification or removal of